And when those documents finally came to light, everything would change. The biggest weapon in the entire war had never been the evidence. It wasn't the leaked messages. It wasn't Ethan's confession. It wasn't even the forged documents. The most dangerous weapon was something nobody remembered existed. A contract, one signed 7 years ago. A contract hidden beneath thousands of corporate records. A contract everyone forgot, except me. 3 days after the emergency board meeting, Miranda entered my apartment carrying an old storage box. The moment I saw it, I knew. She smiled. I found them. My heart actually skipped a beat. Inside the box were hundreds of pages. Original licensing agreements, patent registrations, technology transfer documents, partnership records, the true foundation of Novosphere. For years, everyone believed the company owned its technology. Technically, that was true, but only partially, because the core predictive engine powering almost every major product had never been permanently transferred. It was licensed from Adrian Vale, the original creator, me, and the license agreement contained a clause, a very dangerous clause, one that activated under specific circumstances: corporate misconduct, unauthorized intellectual property modification, or fraudulent representation. The moment Miranda finished reading it aloud, she laughed. A long laugh, the kind that appears when reality becomes absurd. Oh my God, what? They destroyed themselves. I smiled, because she was right. They had, without realizing it. The very actions used to remove Adrian from the company had triggered the termination clause. The weapon meant to protect innovation had become a nuclear bomb, and Novosphere was standing directly on top of it. That afternoon, we scheduled a private meeting with the board. Not the executives, not management, only directors, the people responsible for protecting shareholders. When the meeting began, nobody looked relaxed. Stock prices continued falling. Media pressure increased daily. Government regulators had begun asking questions. Investors were furious. Everyone wanted solutions. Unfortunately for them, I brought consequences instead. The lead director adjusted his glasses. You requested this meeting. I nodded, then pushed a folder toward him. Read page 37. The room became silent. One by one, they opened the documents. Several minutes passed. Then suddenly one director froze. Another stood up. A third cursed under his breath. The atmosphere changed immediately. Fear. Real fear. The lead director looked at me. Is this authentic? Miranda answered. We already verified every document. Nobody spoke, because everyone understood. If the agreement was valid, Novosphere was in catastrophic danger. The predictive engine generated nearly 60% of company revenue. Without it, clients would leave, investors would flee, competitors would attack. The company would survive, but barely. One director finally asked the obvious question. What do you want? A fair question. I leaned forward. The room focused entirely on me. I want accountability. Nothing more, nothing less. The directors exchanged looks, because they knew exactly what that meant. It meant Celeste. It meant her mother. It meant every executive who helped hide the truth. The era of protection was ending. The era of consequences was beginning. Meanwhile, the media storm exploded. Anonymous sources leaked more information daily. Questions emerged regarding executive favoritism, board oversight, corporate governance, transparency. Every television channel discussed Novosphere. Every financial analyst had an opinion. The company that once symbolized innovation now symbolized scandal. And at the center stood Celeste, the woman who once controlled everything. For the first time in years, she couldn't control the narrative. A week later, she appeared on television. A live press conference. Media watched, including me. She looked composed, professional, confident. The same image she had spent years building. Then the questions began. The first reporter asked about Ethan. The second asked about data security. The third asked about internal investigations. The fourth asked about Adrian Vale. The room changed immediately. Celeste hesitated, only briefly, but cameras captured everything. The hesitation, the discomfort, the uncertainty. For years, she had answered every question perfectly. Today, she couldn't. Because the truth was chasing her. And truth moves faster than lies. Then came the fatal question. Did Adrian Vale create the company's core technology? The room fell silent. Every microphone pointed toward her. Every camera zoomed in. Every journalist waited. I already knew the answer she would give. Because the old Celeste couldn't help herself. She still believed control was possible. He was part of a larger team. The moment those words left her mouth, I knew she had lost. Completely. Because 2 hours later, Miranda released the documents. Patent records, development histories, technical certifications, original architecture plans, every piece of evidence. The internet exploded. People were furious, not because Adrian created the technology, but because the truth had been hidden. For years, the narrative collapsed overnight. The independent genius chairwoman story disappeared. In its place emerged another. A husband who built an empire. A wife who erased him from it. Public opinion shifted like a tsunami, and there was nothing Celeste could do. The following week brought disaster after disaster. Several major investors reduced positions. Strategic partners demanded reviews. Clients requistaient clarification. Regulators expanded investigations. Board members began protecting themselves. The empire was eating itself alive. Then Ethan made his final mistake. Facing criminal charges, he decided he wasn't going down alone. Through his lawyer, he submitted additional evidence. Private recordings, meeting transcripts, messages, years of messages. Some involved Celeste. Some involved Victoria. Many discussed strategies for reducing Adrian's influence. The public reaction was brutal. People despised betrayal, especially betrayal disguised as love. The board called another emergency session. This one lasted 11 hours. When it ended, several executives resigned. 3 directors were removed. Victoria Hartwell lost all advisory authority, and Celeste stepped down as chief executive. Not immediately, but permanently. The announcement shocked the market. For many people, it marked the end of an era. For me, it was simply another chapter. Months passed. The divorce became final. The investigations concluded. Novosphere survived. Barely. The company entered restructuring. A new management team arrived. Governance committees formed. Oversight increased. Everything changed, including me. Because while Novosphere struggled to recover, I was building something new. Ether Dynamics. A company founded on one simple principle. No sados. No hidden contributors. No stolen credit. Every engineer mattered. Every creator mattered. Every innovation carried its creator's name. Investors joined quickly. Talent followed. Former colleagues arrived. Even Claire joined the leadership team. Within a year, Ether Dynamics became one of the fastest-growing technology companies in the industry. Exactly as I remembered from the novel. Except originally Adrian never lived long enough to see it. I did, because this time I chose differently. One autumn afternoon, nearly 2 years after the gala, I attended a shareholder conference. Ironically, it was hosted by Novosphere. The company looked very different now. Smaller, humbler, more careful. As I entered the building, someone called my name. I turned and saw Celeste. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Tom had changed her, not physically, but emotionally. The arrogance was gone. The certainty was gone. Even the ambition seemed quieter. Life had finally taught her limits. She smiled sadly. You look happy. I am. The answer seemed to hurt. Not because it was cruel, because it was true. For years, she believed Adrian couldn't exist without her. Now she was staring at proof otherwise. We walked through the lobby together. 2 strangers carrying the memories of a failed marriage. Eventually she stopped. There was something I wanted to ask. I already knew, even before she spoke. Do you still love me? The question hung between us. In another life, the original Adrian would have said yes. Without hesitation, without pride, without self-respect. I wasn't him anymore. I thought carefully, then answered honestly. There was a time when I loved you enough to give you everything. Her eyes trembled. But not now. Silence. A painful silence. The kind that arrives too late. She looked away. Tried to hide emotions she could no longer control. Regret. Real regret. Not because she lost power. Not because she lost status. because she finally understood what she had thrown away. The realization arrived years late, but arrived, and that was enough. She handed me a small box. Inside sat a familiar ring, the wedding ring I had thrown away after the gala. Apparently someone found it. Apparently she kept it. For years, I stared at it quietly, then closed the box and handed it back. No anger, no hatred, no viternis, just peace. Some things belong in the past. She understood immediately. Tears filled her eyes. But she didn't stop me. She didn't beg. She didn't argue. For the first time in our entire relationship, she accepted my decision. I walked toward the exit. Sunlight poured through the glass walls. Outside, the city moved forward. Cars, people, life. Everything continued, just as it always does. Behind me stood the woman who once defined Adrian Vale's entire world. Ahead of me stood a future she no longer occupied. And as I stepped into the sunlight, one final thought crossed my mind. People misunderstand revenge. They imagine victory means watching enemies suffer, watching them cry, watching them regret. But true victory is much quieter. It's waking up one day and realizing their choices no longer affect your life. Their regret doesn't matter. Their apology doesn't matter. Their tears don't matter. Because you've already moved on. The greatest revenge isn't destroying the person who betrayed you. It's becoming so happy, so fulfilled, and so free that their betrayal becomes nothing more than a chapter in a story you've already finished reading. And this time, I finally reached the ending. Not the ending written in the novel, the one I chose myself.
If the story made you feel something, leave a like. Not every story is meant to comfort you. Some are meant to follow you. And if this one stays with you, subscribe, because the next one goes even deeper.